All right, Shalom. Before I begin this lesson, I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Harakhakodash, and double honors to the elders of Great Millstone, Shalom, wa barakathum to the elect of the nation of Israel. I just got this book today called Birth of a White Nation, and the author is Jacqueline Battalora, The Invention of White People and Its Relevance Today. And in his book, Esau, or this author, tells on herself, this is a female author, an Edomite. She says that, and Tawada Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai for putting the spirit on an elder from GMS, Chicago, who brought this to brother's attention, because me personally, I didn't know it, so he came up this or brought out this information. This is a golden nugget right here. So Tawada for the elder in Chicago. Right? Elder Malcolm. So when you go into this book, I paid $15. Well, actually, it's 10 something, and it came out to about, including shipping, like about $15. That's it, $15. Now, some of the cover, you go on Amazon, you'll have like different looking covers, but I chose this one with the American flag on it. But some of these book covers, they're not gonna have like the same. It's the same book, but it'll come in like with like different covers, or come in like different covers, but the same information. So this is a really good tool to use on the highways and byways, a real good tool to use, right? Nobody is white, okay? This says the birth of a white nation and the invention of white people and its relevance today. Now, when you go into page, I'll start from page 2 of Birth of a White Nation. It says, the label whites, reflecting a group of humanity, appears nowhere in law until 1681. Now, when you think of white, you think of purity, you think of innocence, not guilty. Oh, I can't do nothing wrong. I can't be the devil. But when you think of black, you think of drive-bys, you think of hustling, you think of gangbanging, you think of drill music, you think of negativity, you think of darkness, you think of gloom, doom and gloom. But when you think of white, oh, white people are innocent. Nobody's white, right? Nobody's black. Those are what you call social constructs created by Esau, right? When Esau calls you black, when Esau calls you Puerto Rican, that's what you call a social construct, or what you call, also the Bible calls proverbs and bywords. Right? So Lord willing, I'll get to that. So I just want to bring out a few precepts in this video. So right, it says the label white reflecting a group of humanity appears nowhere in law until 1681. So this term white and the invention of this word white to apply to people was only created in 1681. It first appears in an enactment passed by the Colonial Assembly of the Colony of Maryland. The question is why? Who were white people prior to the invention? So we're going to go into Genesis chapter 25. We're going to get right to the point. So if there's white people, if there's no such thing as white people, who are they according to the Bible? So all you got to do is go to Genesis 25. Now, Esau and the Edomites will try to debunk this chapter here in verse, which we bring out to describe Esau's lack of pigmentation. So we're going to go into Genesis chapter 25 and verse, get right to the point. I start at verse 24. And when her days, well, Rebecca, to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. And the first came out red, all over like in hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. Now, back then, we used to dye the garments red. We used to have something called badger skin dyed red. You can look that up. Badger skin dyed red. So Esau came out the womb without no pigmentation. He He looked red. Now, what race of people fit that description? Edomites, white people, so-called white people. So they came out red, all right? And Esau means wasted away is he. Why? Because he came out the womb without no pigmentation. So he came out all over. When you see a white baby born, they come out looking red. They come out looking like this, red or pink, right? They came out red. They came out red all over like a, what does it say? Salaki, I'll read that again. And the first came out red all over like in hairy garment. And they called his name Esau. So he came out red all over like a hairy garment. And that's so-called white people. And they know these are facts. They know these are facts. That's why you got something called a tanning salon. That's why you got suntan lotion. That's why they try to sit. They go to the beach. They sit underneath the sun for like, they go early in the morning when the sun rises to like, on a summer day to like 6 or 7 until like the sun sets or 8 o'clock. And they want to, they want to get darker, right? They want to be Jake. They want to be Jake. See, nowhere in Genesis 25 doesn't mention how Jacob looks, because he looked like everyone else at that time. No one else looked like Esau at that time except for Esau and the Edomites. That's why we believe through the Spirit why Esau, when you go to Genesis 36, in verse 1, it says, now these are the generations of Esau, who is Edom. Oh yeah, and Edom, because he ate that red pot. It's Idawam in the Hebrew. Esau means wasted away, Ishashwa in the Hebrew, which means wasted away is he. Esau took his wives of the daughters of Canaan. Now he was told not to take his wives of the daughters of Canaan, which the original Canaanites were who? Dark-skinned people. Adah, the daughter of Elam the Hittite, Hamite, which is today be known as the Africans. And Aholibama, the daughter of Anah, the daughter of Zibeon the Hivite, and Bashamath, Ishmael's daughter, sister of Nabijah. All right, everyone at this time was dark, including Ishmael. All right, including Ishmael, including the Moabites, including the Hamites, everyone. All right, so we believe he went to go retrieve or try to get back his pigmentation, and that's why he fucked the African women. You look at, type in on YouTube videos, you can type in white people marrying an African woman, and you'll see it. They'll go to like Uganda somewhere in the jungles, find them a dark ass African, and just impregnate them. And look, they come out with like nappy hair. They might even appear to look like Israelites. You know what I'm saying? But they're what? Edomites. Right? Because white man, let me go pop that dark skin. They can appear to look like any other nation. But the point is that Esau does that. The point is that Esau does that. So they came out red all over like a hairy garment. Nobody else looks like that or look like that. Right? So white, black are all social constructs. You can't call yourself an African American. Like, you black. You got to stop calling yourself an African American. You're not African American. That's the names of two Edomite conquerors. All right? Amerigo Vespucci, which was he was an Italian explorer during the Renaissance or the rebirth of Esau, and this other devil, Leo Scipio Africanus. I always say Leo Scipio. I used to say Leo Scipio Africanus. Leo Scipio Africanus, however you want to pronounce it. He was an Edomite general in the Roman army, I believe during the time of the Second Punic Wars. That's how that land, Africa, was named. Became to be known as Africa. Most people don't know that. But here it says, it first appears, the question is why, who were white people prior to the invention? What did it mean when they became white? What was the problem that lawmakers sought to address through the imposition of this new category of humanity? So it's to categorize humanity. Okay, white here, black here, Indian here, East Indian here, Native American here. It was to categorize humanity. Puerto Rican here, Dominican here. There's no such, those are not nationalities. Okay, those are either names of your conquerors or a color. right? The scriptures tell you, I'm going to grab two precepts. I'll grab this one first. See, Esau knows who you Jakes are. So we're going to go into Deuteronomy in the curses. Now, this is a curse to be called white. To be called black. That's a curse. To be called Hispanic, Latino, West Indian. West Indian means a savage of the West. So you Jamaicans are being called West Indians. Nobody's a West Indian or a Native American Indian. The native of America, which goes back to a white man, and Indian, which means savage. So this is Deuteronomy 28 and verse 37, right to the point. I'll read the NLT. You will become an object of horror. Actually, let's read the KJV first. And thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all nations whither the Lord shall lead thee. A proverb and a byword, which means a taunt. Someone, hey, look at you, tonto, you spick, you wetback, you mooly, you African American, you colored, you Negro, you nigger, like those are what you call proverbs and bywords. You black man, you Hispanic man, you Latino man. You will become an object of horror, ridicule, and mockery among all the nations to which the Lord sends you. So anywhere the Israelites go, we are an astonishment, a proverb, a byword. Now Esau knows who you Jakes are. He knows who the nations are. This is Isaiah 25 and 7. And he will destroy in this mountain the face of the covering cast over all people. Right? Who's that face? All right, it's talking about Esau. All right, and all people are all nations. Okay, so he covered, and mountain means a high mountain, right? Which America is a high mountain. So he covered everyone's biblical nationality up. Okay, don't let them find out that they're the real Jews. That's why they call themselves Jews. Okay? Don't let them find out that they're the real tribe of Ephraim, that they come from the tribe of Ephraim. Don't let them find out that they come from the tribe of Gad. That's what their plan was, but their plan failed. They backfired on them because now Israelites do know who we are. We understand who we are. So nations, a lot of these nations, like Ishmael, I give Ishmael this, at least this, that they know that, like Muhammad knew that he's an Ishmaelite, and people that follow Islam and are real Ishmaelite by blood, they know that they come from Ishmael, or Yashma'Allah. They know that. But certain like Africans, they don't know they go back to Ham, like the Mizraim, all right, the Canaanites, the South Africans, they don't know they really go back to Ham. A lot of white people, this devil has deceived the whole world. They don't know that they actually go back to Esau, Edom. Do you have, I will say this, you do have our people amongst these nations that look like so-called white people, so-called Hamites, but they're Israelites. All right, East Indians, some of the East Indians know they go back to Elam, because you could just go to, what's that, Aranica, Carmania Encyclopedia, Aranica Encyclopedia, I forget the site, and they tell you that Elam, Carmania is Elam, and that's found in 2nd Ezra, the 15th chapter, dealing with prophecy with the Iranians destroying America, or being joined to Russia with Russia to destroy America. But anyway, the Carmanians raging in war, and talks about the Arabians, but anyway, right? And the veil that is spread over all nations. Now, what's a veil? What do you do with a veil? You know what I'm saying? You cover yourself with a veil, all right? A veil. Right? A veil you can't see. You can't see, but now that veil is being pulled back. Now everyone is being exposed. We're revealing everyone's biblical nationality. You go back to Elam, y'all go back to Edom, Esau, Edom, y'all go back to the Assyrians, y'all go back to the east, to Elam, y'all go back to Japheth. So we're revealing everyone's nationality. You're an Israelite. Right? So that's that veil that Esau used to blind, right? The scriptures say that the God of this world had blinded the minds of them that believe not. Right? He's deceptive. This devil is very, very crafty. Right? So Esau is being exposed because this what you call the information age. So let's go back into this book. So we established that this book, okay, that the term white was created in 1681, right? Let's go to, how do you read Roman numerals? XX11, is that for 22? Let me look that up. I could be wrong. I'll look that up. XX11 in Roman numerals is XX111 at 23. So XX11 would be 22. Okay. From page 22, once again, birth of a white nation. I'm going to start from here. From page 22. Naming of a group of humanity with a label that sticks is no small feat. It reflects a significant social achievement. The invention of white people is revealed as an extension of a compartmentalization of humanity beginning to be carved out by elites, British and European colonists decades before Bacon's Rebellion. Was Bacon Rebellion happened in Virginia? You can look that up. The rebellion that is held out as the critical historical event that gave rise to white people, meaning to gave rise to white supremacy, and before the idea of race had any footing. In chapter 2, law as a laboring institution is explored. The series of laws, right, and also in law. You go find it in law because it was established. That's why you see on job applications, you see white, Caucasian, black, Hispanic, Latino, or other. Check off the box, right? It all goes, it ties in with Esau's law, okay? That ties in with Isaiah 10:1. Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees. You're white. Yeah, you fit the description, right? If you think of, like, for example, like in a job field, okay, you'll think of a Mexican, or Issachar, right, that knows how to build a house and you know, do roofing and stuff like that, tiling, roofing, and all that. But you'll look at a so-called black man, you be like, he don't look like he qualifies for that job. How do you know that? Guess what? That's what you call a social construct. That's what you call a social construct, right? So if you're white, you fit into corporate America. See that? That's what you call social construct. It says this: the series of laws that asserted and imposed the human category white and its ideological underpinnings in the decades following Bacon's Rebellion worked to discipline communities by transforming relationships among laborers and imposing a hierarchy that had not previously existed. So the term white, once again, is not a biblical nationality. It's a social construct. They also reveal ties between the invention of whites and a distinctly white patriarchal rule, white supremacy. British elite, why you think they had in the deep south, they had on DC, the deep south, Montgomery, Alabama, wherever. Why you think they had like white water fountain for whites, water fountain for blacks? That's what you call a division. Okay, it's a division, which the Most High is a separatist because he's showing you that you are not these Edomites. Right? Deuteronomy 7:6, the Lord separated the nations. That's Deuteronomy 32:8. The Lord separated the nations, right? The Lord is a racist. We are a special people. Deuteronomy 7:6. There is no coming together. The color line. You know why they created the color line? Look at Johann Blumenbach. When you read the Babylon and Timbuktu from page 21. When you read Babylon and Timbuktu, page 21, right? He divided humanity by the size of the skull. That ain't nationality. Your skull size doesn't make up your nationality. So you can have the skull of a Hamite, you can have the skull of a Moabite, but does that make you a Moabite? No. No, it doesn't make you a Moabite. This thing is all about bloodline, and it's all about your nationality of, okay, the lineage of your father, who you go back to, according to the Bible, not according to white, black colors. This guy is blue, put him over here. This guy is yellow. Okay, this guy's black, put him over here. This guy's red, put him over here. This guy's green, put him over here. Right? Esau is red, right? Or the Edomites. So you got some of our people that look like that. But it says this: they also reveal ties between the invention of whites and a distinctly white patriarchal rule. British elites made connections with European laborers, in part through the bodies of white women. Finally, the laws reveal the connection between the creation of a human category and the particular. Till this day, it's the same exact thing. Particularly, you ask somebody their nationality, they say, I'm American, I'm black, I'm European. I'm like, all these things are not nationalities. They're just either a name of a land or some color or someone's name. It's not a nationality. It said, made connections with European laborers in part through the bodies of white women. Finally, the laws reveal the connection between the creation of a human category and the particularly exploitative version of capitalism taking hold. This version of capitalism depended upon slavery. Come on. You can't make this stuff up. Immigration and naturalization law established by the first Congress of the United States. Immigration and naturalization law established by the first Congress of the United States reveals the success of the category white people. These laws work to institutionalize whiteness as a matter of foundational law within the new republic, which is talking about, okay, Babylon the Great. The ways in which whiteness shape human relationships, labor, and the United States citizenry is explored in Chapter 3. The impact of these laws upon those viewed as white in the United States, as well as those of African, Chinese, and Japanese descent, is considered. So this thing is all about grouping people up by colors, by land. Check this out. What other page? I highlighted a few parts in this book. What other page I could go into? XIV in Roman numerals, page 14. Birth of a white nation, once again. Third paragraph. I can actually start from, in this chapter, she's talking about how she's going into how she's privileged for looking the way she does. Right? Because, right, when you think of white, you think, oh, somebody's privileged. They could get all the jobs. They could get all the benefits. They could join the union. Are there jakes in that? Okay, cool. We understand. But the majority of the jakes are struggling to make ends meet, are struggling. Shit, even Esau, their own people are struggling too, because Esau is not a just ruler, but this really affects you, Jace, because the Lord has his eyes set on you. All right, you're under the curses. All right, page, what's that? 13, I said, right? I cannot pretend to be uninfluenced by these experiences. They made me white, even while presenting hints of its fictitious nature. So I went into Genesis 25. The first came out red all over like a hairy garment. right? And they called his name Esau. Both the reality, no one back then looked like Esau. Nobody back then. Everybody was dark. Was Esau dark at one time? Yes, when he was Cain. Going back to that, to Cain, that first murderer. Yes, he was dark. But we know when you go into Genesis 4 that the Lord stripped Cain of his pigmentation when he came back as Esau. All right, but then again, we understand you got chocolate-covered crackers out there too. We could go into all of that. The wheat and the tares. Right? It says, they made me white even while presenting hints of its fictitious nature. Both the reality and fiction of whiteness coexisted in my experience and created the desire to make sense of that contradiction. This struggle helped give direction to my graduate studies. I enter into this project having first studied law and then sociology, United States history, and social ethics in an interdisciplinary PhD program. These academic disciplines shape the approach taken to the concerns addressed in this text. I pursued the study of law because it was the most obvious avenue for engaging in efforts to improve the distribution of opportunity, access, and resources, liberty, rights, and freedom. There ain't no freedom. However, law presented its own inequities that I struggled to short and clarify when a judge in a rape trial interpreted hands around a white woman's neck as foreplay, thereby dismissing an alternative perspective that those actions could reasonably be experienced. Right. That's why a lot of these Edomites, they get away with a lot of these crimes. They go kill an Edomite woman, or just give them like 4 months. Give them 4 months. Give them community service. Let them go. When a Jake does it, they give you. Remember that Jake in Florida? What's that brother's name? Well, he ain't in the truth, but he's still an Israelite. They gave him 400 years, and he was a getaway driver, right? In Florida. They gave him 400 years. He was a getaway driver. They gave him 400 years. Come to find out, he was a so-called getaway driver because he was innocent of the crime that they accused him of. But he spent his over 30 or 40 years in prison for something that he did not do or commit. Right? Esau has unjust laws. Check this out. In many ways, this book is a result of that pursuit. Today, I still click off Caucasian or white among the race options on the census and those official forms at schools, medical providers, etc. What is different is that today, I know that white, like race, is a historical imposition given content and form through the proliferation of ideas imposed and claims through law. This is not to say that people labeled white are not real. Well, okay, enough of that part. So, you see that? Those are just the parts that I highlighted in this book. All right, but she's snitching on herself, so we're going to get that. Right, so the term white came in 1681. So this is Psalm 64. Psalm 64 verse 8. So shall they make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away. Their own tongues will ruin them. And it has. You go on YouTube, you got Edomites calling themselves Edomites. You got Edomites saying, I'm not white, I'm red. Right? Their own tongues will ruin them. And all who see them will shake their heads in scorn. They'll be like, I knew they was lying to me. They've been calling themselves the Jews all this time. They actually go back to Esau, Edom, the Edomites. I knew they was lying to me. I knew there wasn't no black people. Ain't no such thing as a black man. Asiatic black man. Huh. Why do you think the Black Panthers, they were heavy into that black shit, like on black. They thought they was black. That's why the scriptures say that the Most High set up the apostles last. We got the information, we got the truth, and Thawadi Yahba Shem Yahba for the truth. Right? The scriptures say at the end is to speak and not lie, and the Spirit will lead us into all truth. I pray this video is edifying. Until then, Shalom.